Great Depression, which I think the United States is just feeling around the corner. How was Brazil affected? How did Brazil come out of it?
Yeah, well, the first initially the impact on the Brazilian economy was really big. I mean, the effects of the crisis were spread rapidly throughout the world. In Brazil, there was a capital outflow impacting the financial markets, the stock market. There was a decline on Brazilian exports, rapid deterioration of the exchange rate. But fortunately, the government was very quick and effective in the way that it responded to the crisis. Immediately, they reduced the compulsory deposits to provide liquidity. They established a finance program for exports. They implemented tax cuts to induce consumption of durable goods and vehicles, and all sorts of measures, plus the reduction on interest rates that started in January 2009. So all the combination of these let's say counter-cyclical measures, plus the fact that before the crisis, Brazil had very good macroeconomic indicators, made Brazil weather the crisis better than similar economies and much better than what was our past experience. Every time there was a crisis, Brazil really suffered a lot, but not this time. This time, as I said, because of the combination of the situation Brazil was before the crisis and the counter-cyclical measures that the government put to action very quickly, made us weather the crisis much better. And Brazil, in fact, had decline on GDP of only 0.2% in 2009, and in 2010 is expected to grow around 5%. I think the results were very positive.
Could I follow up on that point in that here in the United States, certainly there's some economists that are fearful that our counter-cyclical activities, increased spending and increased debt posture, in fact, could soon lead to inflation, and it wouldn't be all that sustainable. Are they worried about that in Brazil?
Yes, they are. There are two worries. One is that many or most of the stimulus measures are about to end. They had a term to end, so they are ending now. And the other thing is that there was an increase on inflation expectation in the last 2 or 3 months. So that, combined with the fact that this year is an electoral year, will make every decision very difficult. So now I think the focus of the policymakers will be particularly how to deal with the monetary policy, how to exit, these how to exit the monetary policy that they follow until now, which means you start to raise the interest rate, right? So this is the challenge, and of course for us in Brazil, the question about inflation is, although we were successful to end inflation with Plano Real, nobody wants to get there again. Nobody wants to go back to that situation where we were almost in a hyperinflation situation. So this to mean that I think that the Banco Central will be will be paying all its attention to avoid inflation, to avoid, overheat of the economy, and to control the economy in an electoral year.
Well, I know that the central bank is structured a little differently from here, and perhaps there's a little more political influence there. But even in this country, there's been a lot of discussion, of course, with naming the new chairman or the renewed position of the head of our Federal Reserve,
right,
about how the politicians can try to use the central bank. Do you think the central bank there is kind of insulated enough, especially in an electoral year, to do a very conservative and orthodox approach?
I believe so. I mean, I think it's better now than in the past. In the last few years, there were a series of measures that were taken that, although the central bank is subordinated to the Minister of Finance, it has much more independence now than it had in the past. And I believe that, and I think the president of the central bank, Henrique Meirelles, has done a wonderful job, and I think he has showed over the years that he's focusing more on the economic conditions than on the political conditions. But of course, this will be a different year. Will be a more difficult year. So, but I still believe that although it might look that there might be more influence from the politics, I think that he will be able to keep the focus.